Well, welcome to another episode of Theology where I've got my copy of the Confession and a nice cold glass of Dr. Pepper. You can tell me in the comments, but today is just too hot for tea. At least that's my opinion. That's really good. So we're continuing in chapter 6 about the fall and punishment, and brings us to section 4. And so we'll read that and do our comments. So from this original corruption, which that's referencing back to section 3, from this original corruption, whereby we are utterly indisposed, disabled, and made opposite to all good, and wholly inclined to all evil, do proceed all actual transgressions. And so what this is, it's continuing along with this original sin that we inherit from Adam, and the way in which it does corrupt us totally and completely. As the confession says, we are utterly indisposed and disabled and made opposite to all good. Now, certainly we're not as bad as we could be, but now by nature we all follow after Satan, the kingdom of Satan, instead of following after God. And the only reason we would follow God would be that he transforms us and changes us and makes us disposed to follow him instead. And so I think the confession there very, very wisely reminds us, again, in Adam, we are fallen and we are sinful. And unless there is an external change, we will remain that way. But also that from this original sin, as the confession points out, do proceed all actual transgressions. And so if you were to die without Jesus Christ, without the forgiveness of sins, there would be these actual sins that you would be held accountable for, that from this original corruption that we have inherited from Adam. All manner of sin comes forth from that. So the confession is trying to state really the bad news before we get into the good news, that this is who we are. This is the reality of the world that we live in, that we are corrupt, that we are fallen, and that we need Jesus Christ. We need the forgiveness. We need the reconciliation that is offered in Jesus Christ. And as we said in the last one, it's wonderful news to know that Jesus proceeds by extraordinary generation, that he is sinless, that he does not inherit original sin, and no actual transgression, no actual sins proceed from him during his entire lifetime on earth. He was completely sinless. And so that's the good news that we'll continue to get through as we see the rest of the confession, speaking to what God does in response to our sins. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you're staying cool somehow. I'd recommend ice cold Dr. Pepper. But again, let me know, is it too hot to drink tea? I think it is, but who am I to say anything? Cheers. Thanks for tuning in.